China's transformation from a poor developing nation into an economic giant today offers great lessons for Africa. China is still developing and far from being ideal. However, what it has accomplished in just over 30 years is very remarkable and can serve as an example for other African countries. A nation that genuinely believes in itself and has the correct mindset can overcome any obstacle and achieve greatness, as demonstrated by China's development. So in today's video, we are going to give you 5 things Africans should learn from China. Without wasting much of your time, let's delve right in. 1. A nation that was once colonized can rise to become a superpower. Colonialism first stepped into China after the victory of the British Navy in the First Opium War, 1839 to 1842. This war is marked in history as the first in which steam-driven ships were used as the main force. Among the dynasties that ruled in China, 2 were foreign: the Yuan dynasty from 1271 to 1368, which was established by the Mongols, and the Qing dynasty, which was the last dynasty, from 1624 to 1911, established by the Manchus. From 1931 to 1945, Japan also occupied various parts of China. Colonization can make a nation lose its pride, dignity, identity, and self-belief, but China has managed to regain all these and even overtake its former colonizers to become the world's second largest economy today. Africa was plundered and stripped of its pride, dignity, identity, and self-belief by colonialism and slavery. Africans need to learn from China that a country can endure such a dehumanizing experience and nonetheless recover its lost ground and rise once again. In Chinese universities, Chinese history classes are compulsory for all students. Universities in America experience the same thing. Africa may also benefit from how China has cultivated national pride through language. Mandarin has become the official language in China thanks to the Chinese. Chinese officials only speak and write in Mandarin, no matter where they are in the globe. Despite being colonized, the Chinese never lost their language, which is something they are proud of. Africans should select a Bantu language like Swahili, which is already spoken by over 150 million people, and teach in schools across Africa. English and French are borrowed languages. Africans need to be unique. Africa won't be able to achieve greatness unless it sheds its colonial mentality and reclaims its pride, dignity, identity, and self-belief. 2. African countries should create their own economic and political systems guided by their national interests. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the country became a one-party state and initially adopted communism, but later changed to what they call socialistic education. China's education system focuses on developing useful workers from a young age. The social market economy label applied to China's economy describes it as a system-neutral economy. It takes various parts of other systems and combines them to create a system that best serves its national interests. The Chinese adopted a one-party system with intra-party democracy after realizing that stability was necessary for their development. The political stability that came with having a stable administration allowed the Chinese to develop in the manner and rate that they had. The Chinese have implemented some capitalist policies in certain regions of the country, even though they are the biggest opponents of capitalism. Over the years, Africa has made unsuccessful attempts to adopt capitalism, socialism, and communism. Africans must now be pragmatic. They must take all necessary action to promote, advance, and safeguard their nation's interests. Africa must now develop a political and economic structure that guarantees the fulfillment of its objectives, including food security, access to high-quality healthcare, education for everyone, and economic opportunity. 3. State-owned enterprises are key drivers of an economy. State-owned companies serve as China's economy's main engines. Enterprises are identified as state-owned companies if the state owns, directly or indirectly, over 50.01% of shares in them. 3 Chinese state-owned companies, Sinopec Group, China National Petroleum, and State Grid, are on the list of the biggest companies in the world. Chinese state-owned companies are estimated to account for about half of the country's industrial output. therefore contributing significantly to China's $18 trillion GDP and more than $3 trillion cash reserves. African countries ought to reconsider the idea that they should limit government involvement in economic activity to only managing the environment. African governments cannot keep relying on tax revenue and insignificant mining royalties to raise the necessary finances for national development. China's experience demonstrates how African state-owned enterprises can generate profits for national development if they are commercialized. That is, they remain state-owned but are managed like private enterprises. Therefore, state-owned enterprises should actively participate in the exploitation of Africa's abundant natural resources to guarantee that the proceeds from such endeavors go to the people. State-owned businesses need not operate in all areas of the economy, only the most important ones. Giving ownership of one's natural resources to outsiders and allowing them to reap more rewards than one's inhabitants is both irrational and illegal. China has shown enormous good effects that state-owned enterprises can have on an economy and the populace. African nations must place a higher importance on them. State-owned enterprises have the potential to be important economic drivers in Africa if well managed. Hope you are learning a lot from this video. Encourage us to keep making videos like this for you by liking this video and subscribing to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications to get notified when we upload new videos. Let's continue. 4. Africans must be quick and decisive in policy implementation. While the rest of the world was busy debating how to deal with the world financial crisis in 2008, China was already implementing its economic stimulus plan of increasing public investment in infrastructure, lowering taxes, and easing credit restrictions for mortgages and small and medium-sized enterprises. This made the effects of the world crisis on China's economy not as severe as in other countries. During the crisis, China's economy still grew by more than 9%, while the global GDP growth rate was 3% in 2008. The success of China is greatly attributed to its swift and incisive policy implementation. Sometimes they may take their time debating a matter, but once a decision is made, it is swiftly carried out. This is a quality that African countries can emulate. African countries should prioritize hiring only the most qualified and capable individuals for their governments. The best university students in China are chosen by the government to work in the public sector. 5. A nation must always have clear programs that are bold and have vision. There have been ambitious, visionary programs throughout China's history. Some of these projects include the Great Leap Forward, 1954 to 1964, Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 76, Open Door Policy, 1978, and the Go Out Policy. Even though the desired results were not always achieved, these programs had clear objectives. Economic reforms brought about by the Open Door Policy paved the way for rural industrialization and business reorganization. The strategy, which was a resounding success, allowed foreign direct investment into China's economy. China's official statistics show that the country's poverty rate decreased from 53% in 1981 to 2.5% in 2005. About 300 million individuals are thought to have been lifted out of poverty. Among the world's 15 most populous developing countries, China has seen the greatest drop in poverty rates. However, China's massive contribution to global poverty alleviation is largely a function of its size. When Chairman Mao Zedong was the leader of China, China oversaw the implementation of ambitious and daring initiatives. 2 years after the People's Republic of China was established, Chairman Mao put into effect the Big Push policy, which included a land reform program, constructing factories, and limiting consumption. In 1958, he undertook the Great Leap Forward program. The goal was to make China an economic superpower. Unfortunately, agricultural production fell as the focus was on steel production. The policy failed, but the lessons from this failure were invaluable for the next era. It took China almost 50 years to fully achieve Mao's vision. Then came Deng Xiaoping's era. He succeeded Chairman Mao in 1978 and was widely credited for transforming China's economy. Even if some of the reforms did not fit under the communist or socialist model, Deng was dedicated to implementing them to advance China. He is known for his common slogan, "It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." He understood that without economic growth, the Communist Party of China would lose its relevance. He then implemented the opening up strategy to allow for small-scale foreign direct investment in special economic zones, where he cut red tape for foreign companies and developed the infrastructure required to attract international corporations. He transformed rural areas by enabling excess grain and other agricultural products to be sold to the government at discounted rates. Under Deng, the state-owned enterprises were reformed by restructuring, selling, merging, or shutting them down. This led to the state-owned enterprises becoming major drivers of the economy and the most profitable enterprises. Deng called this system socialism with Chinese characteristics. In 2001, after protracted negotiations, China entered the World Trade Organization. This boosted its economy through increased exports. Today, China's current leader, Xi Jinping, talks about the Chinese dream, which focuses on improving the quality of life of the average Chinese. African nations need policies that are as clear, daring, and imaginative as China's. They should stop waiting for outsiders to intervene and make judgments for them because they already have the staff in place to successfully implement these projects. The economic policies of most African nations are crafted by foreigners who use aid packages and loans from international institutions to implement the policies. African countries must ask themselves what they want to accomplish, their vision, and then develop precise plans to carry out that vision. There is nothing that China has done that African nations cannot do or even surpass. Africans only need to start by believing in themselves and having the right mindset, and they too can achieve great things. African countries should not try to be China, but rather take inspiration from it. We have come to the end of this video. What are some other things that Africans could learn from China? Let us know in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel. Turn on notifications too so you get notified whenever we upload interesting videos like this. Thanks for watching and see you in our next video.